welcome back to another Plan Explained. I 4-bet here, checked flop, checked again on turn. I don't know, I'm kind of playing this like a little psychotic, I'm not gonna lie. I think here we just fast play now. Like if he has 9s or 10s with a heart, he has to call. If he has a flush, we're drawing dead, but I think it's okay. I don't mind it because, yeah. We can play ace king with a heart like that. You're not really playing a flush like that. We could definitely play aces and stuff like this. I guess you guys didn't see the full hand. I think here we're supposed to call. I guess we'll call. He kind of sized up a little bit, so I don't mind the toss. Yeah. Okay, here the question is, we're going to have jacks a good amount. We're going to have ace-5 suited a good amount. He has that. I don't know how much of a raising range you want to play. The 10 isn't the best. Diamond have. It's not like we have ace queen of diamonds, but I guess we're never going to have any other. This is the worst suited ace-x we're going to have, actually, in this one. So I can see it raising. I'm going to use the, I guess on an 8. We'll just call. And we're going to have aces and queens very often here. I think we still call. Like, obviously he's going to have jacks and queens. We could shove, but it's like, are we shoving jacks and queens? I don't know. I guess we lose to ace king, eh? I don't mind the shove, actually. I've kind of come around to it. We get him off ace king, and he might just play ace king on it like this. But it looks like he just has like kings or something. Damn, he had ace queen. So if we had raised flop, we would have been chilling. It's kind of sad. This guy's too good, man. Damn, we bingo over here though. Yeah, it's been not a good day for me. I have been getting absolutely cooked by the deck. So let's hope while I'm recording we can turn it around. Oh, so he just folds. Okay. Probably could have sized down, but versus recreational, I don't mind it. Yeah, today I've been getting absolutely blundered by the deck. I'm not saying that is. I'm just trying to think about the spot. I don't really like. I mean, the hand's not a bad raise on the flop. He rolled an 8, right? Like we checked over here, so I just can't see it pure raising. Because it's really hard to build the value range. Like, jacks just wants to call, right? Like, any hand with a 5 doesn't mind raising, but it's like, I have like 6, 5, 5, 4, potentially like at a low frequency. Obviously, I have a bit of a demon, so I might have it a little more than that. Also, ace 5. Like, the 5x doesn't mind raising, so I guess raising your worst flush draw like ace 10 is probably not the worst. I mean, I guess you're going to have the other connectors if you have that, but it's going to be your worst ace high flush draw, I think. Maybe ace 4 sometimes. Oh, this could raise. I'll fold it now, though. Yeah. Definitely a frustrating hand. My all-in EV has been horrid. Alright, now I'm stuck playing heads up again. Looks like no one wants to play while I'm recording. Here with no heart. People overfloat these types of spots. He put like a actual effort into sizing down, which he usually doesn't. I guess I'll call. Just simply for that tell. Maybe that means he's stronger than that. I don't know. On a 100, we will be attacking. And then here on the river, we're going to block bet for sure. Pre-raises, we obviously have the option to jam. Here, I don't mind raising as well. It's from like cutoff, so he's not going to have as much overpair, like density as some other positions. And here, we're just going to leave and stick to 4 tables. I guess I can just leave. I hope the quality is good. Yeah. Sorry about the lack of uploads. I know I apologize every video, but there's not really an excuse. I'll just try and be better. Yeah. There's excuses, but they're not really good ones. Like having things to do. But yeah. No one else gets, like online, no one gives a fuck. So, which makes sense. I guess like this one doesn't mind checking back the most. Probably you probably like in a singular spot you're more likely to bet when you have more equity with the club. Like you can actually defend the raise better. Like for example here I could call, like let's say I got check raised in this position and this was the turn. If I didn't have a club I'd have to fold, right? Like I feel like folding. You don't know. That's an easy way to explain it. Whereas if I had the aces with a club I can actually play more. So I'd rather close the action with this type of hand. Versus the block, I just don't like. I mean, he hit the entire board, and I actually think if he had a pure bluff here, he would size up. So, I'm just gonna fold. That's my read. On the spot, I could be wrong, but I just don't see any bluffs for a block size there. The worst thing he could have is 2-pair. Could be turn R into bluff, yeah, but like I don't really feel like it. This hand's fine to bet. We have a 5, and we can call a raise pretty easily. So I don't mind getting some value from some of these weirder hands. Could turn it into a bluff here. I don't really feel like it, so we're just gonna check. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, if he outkicks me, it will play. I don't think he's like blocking a 6, right? He's gonna float some a6. I'm gonna check back a shit ton of a6 on the turn though, obviously. Like on the step up board, he's gonna hit a lot of 2-pair and stuff. We just block like the main bluff, being like 8-7 off, 9-7 off. Just any 7, honestly, he might float for that size. So the 7's like the worst card you can have. I imagine. Like just blocking 7-4 is pretty irrelevant. It's like 4 combos of a hand compared to like it's gonna be one of his main bluffs. At least that's how I think about it in my head. It's probably not relevant for us raising, but it doesn't really help. Like I mean, we're not it's not our value range. Like we're not checking it back on the turn ever. On a double flush draw board, we're not checking back the straight there. Like, we basically have the nuts on 0 rivers, so. Would rather bet the turn. Oh. Yeah, just trying to get a video out. It's because I play a lot of times in another location, and there it's just way harder to record. That's the reason. But it's not an excuse. I'm going to try and be better. I'm going to try and record there. And yeah. Also, my mic's a bit delayed, so editing's like a pain in the ass. Like, I have to... But it's not like a real excuse. I'm going to try and get back to 1 every 3 days. That's my goal, so. Here on a 98, I think we could actually shove. I know it's from like these positions you shove more, but I think I could see jacks being just a shove. On a 98. Like I think it's like probably the pair that is at the bottom of the shove range. Maybe queens gets involved. And like obviously ace king is going to be your main one, I think. I know from here it's a little different, but I'm here just going to mainly call. 72 could probably go a little crazier, but I think when he gives us this price, we're more likely to take advantage of that by increasing our calling range. Like, we're going to make less when he folds to a 4-bet. He's going to be more polar. Like on average, by the types hands he has when he 4-bets. I'm just going to have to call down on the spot. I do think this is, like, super underbluff from this player. Here, I'd like just sizing down because I don't think too many pairs take this line, and the ones that do, like, that's not what we're targeting when we bet, so we're just going to bet a third. And if he jams, this one will be a call because he could, like, technically jam hands like jacks and stuff. 10s, because we're gonna have 9s and 8s here, and I'm sure we have to technically call some, so it's not assuming he has bluffs. What a lot of people do is they don't mind going thin for value, but they just hope they pick up on the fact no one picks up on the fact that they don't bluff enough, is what my experience has been like the last couple days, especially. Like some of these gems are so thin, and like they're from like the nittiest players. It's just like I don't know. I'm like tank calling and then I just beat them. Just like, what are you doing, bro? To be fair, like I haven't been playing enough to like really like remember how a lot of my opponents are playing. So I haven't been exploiting them as much as I'd like to. Normally I think when I play a lot I get really used to like how these guys approach the game, or at least some of these regs. Because like some people are really backed by like the overall strategy of a spot in the node, and like, oh, I need this to be my size. These are my bluffs. And some people just think like, okay, I think he has this. Like, I'm gonna bet this size that gets him to call this, and stuff like this. Or oh, I think he has this. I'm gonna bet this side to get that gets him to fold this, and stuff like this. So whatever hand you like are mainly repping, I feel like they play into it like way too hard. Probably shouldn't say this, but yeah. Made a couple dumb calls today though. Getting some players a little too much credit. I mean, it's not that they never bluff, I guess. Just in those notes they weren't. Everyone in my videos says like I'm too big of a station, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I make so many nitty folds on my videos. Because every time I call someone a nit that like people respect, everyone's like, oh, he's exploiting you. You call too much. I don't know. You have to call a lot in poker. Like it's part of the game. Like yeah, if you don't bluff and the guy still calls like around the right percentage, you're just gonna be like, that's why I never click bluff. You see? But I don't know. Alright. So there's like no fish over here, but the game's still running because I had someone ask if I get like attacked for, not attacked, but message for bum hunting, and I don't bum hunt. I just will leave if I think the game's gonna break, which I know I think happens to people in the global pool. Also, anyone asking about the Japan flag, I just have it up for like whatever. Like same people have other flags here. I don't know. They might be from there, and maybe like people have a problem with this. I don't know. It's just the my profile picks a Japanese character. But yeah. Huh. Here I don't mind just betting 33. Probably could bet 20 with the spade. And on the 8, I think a deuce could get involved because you're behind some of these like random 3x hands like ace 3, but 4s don't need to be a bluff, I think. And here we'll check this one back. I don't think this hand has the properties of a 7 that like loves betting. And we're gonna check again for the same reason. Hope he has a 3. Gauge the 6s. I guess that's the advantage of betting 4s though. Also, I don't know if I mentioned the purple is 1k, the green is 500. Yeah. Here we're gonna size to, I think 11.5 is good. Not much is going on, but we got 5 tables. Let's hope we can run it up. I think 5-3 is a pure call, pretty sure. On a 72, I think this hand could flat sometimes, but we'll raise it now. I don't like this overall sizing here. On the Broadway flush draw ace high textures, I prefer to play big better check. Some people like to just simplify to the small size, which is fine, but I think maybe now it's okay. But I think in like longevity for poker, it's just like not being able to play the other node is just like a bit of a disadvantage. Maybe I'm overrating it. I don't know. To me, it's like if you can't like make a good explanation as to something as opposed to just like, people play bad versus it. It's like, do they though? You could lead this spot, but I'll check, I guess. Okay, versus the wreck here. Trying to think how often I'll get called by worse. Yeah, I'm just gonna overbet bluff. I'm just gonna shove. I don't know. You guys might think I shouldn't say that word. You guys might think I'm an idiot for this. Here I think with no over, it's actually like a pretty good hand to bet. Because we need a lot of protection on the streets. I think we can also fold to a raise pretty easily though. Actually, I don't know if this hand wants to fold to a raise, but It's not the worst hand to bet turn and check back river, as opposed to like it's not a. I guess what I'm trying to say is this: the hand is less appealing to be a river bet. It's more appealing as a turn bet, because on the river the odds, since you can't even hit two pair with an overcard, like if an overcomes, your jack's just gonna be worse. Like the appeal of checking back in like queen jack is that let's say my opponent has ace queen or something, then at least I can. There's some advantages to checking back. Jack 9, there's less advantages outside of the fact that the hand is just overall less strong. But versus a raising range, queen jack versus jack 9, it's not. And also this hand's like never a raise. I don't know why. I misread the positions. Because it performs too bad versus a 4-bet. For what it's worth, I think this player is under 4-bet bluffing me. Most people in the pool do, because it's just most people are so tight out of the big blind, no one 4-bet bluffs enough, which they're not supposed to, because a lot of people will have less 3-bet bluffs in the beginning. Okay, so here, Queen of Spades is not the worst card to have, because he actually doesn't have too much Queen of Spades now. Like it's like, oh, I block Queen Jack, that's a full, but he doesn't have, this is like the one Queen Jack of Spades he doesn't have. Like, he doesn't have Queen Jack of Spades, right? So, because that would fold. Whereas the backdoors, he's more likely. I guess I'll call here with the open ender. And I guess I'll check here. I took a long time, so I don't mind checking. I think on a high number, like this hand should probably be... I'm just going to check and lose with the 8. I guess I'll call here versus the small size. Here, I don't know. I mean, my opponent actually has a lot of potential bluffs candidates. I just expect us to bet turn. Could I be wrong? Potentially. So we block ace queen, which might go for value. We block ace 10. I mean, this is actually a pretty decent call, to be honest. But the thing is, like, finding the bluffs is hard. I mean, we obviously block, like, ace 10 of spades. The queen is not really relevant in his bluffing range. Like, the hands he's going to be bluffing, I don't think expect him to bluff 10-9, but if he has a hand like 9-8, I just threw with the fish here. This is like a pretty high frequency play. I think I'm just going to stick to fold. Though I do think I could see it calling. I just, I don't struggle to find the bluffs because I give it like a B because we bet such a small size, which is important to remember. So all those hands I was talking about earlier, like queen jack of hearts, king jack of hearts, like he could float that for the size and then check and then just bet. But do I expect this player to do it? I don't know. I'm not going to get too much in the exploit. Like, he's obviously a pretty solid player. So, yeah, I could play a lot of ace-x like that, though. And I'd rather call an ace. Because I think he could be, like, going thin with ace-5 for that size. And I'd rather just not pay him off for it. So we make, like, pretty much the nuts over here versus this guy. And here... we're going to go for the 4-bet bluff. On this number, it wasn't, but I don't mind it. Okay, so you had king jack. There's the wreck here. We'll just size down. I don't mind the check back if anyone wants to play it here. Sorry about... maybe I'm not as amped in this video. I don't know. Okay, this hand's going to be a frequency 3-bet bluff. Obviously. On a 57, it might be a little loose, but I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I'm in the mood for some blood. The green overbet here. There's going to be a lot of draws. I mean, he never has like pocket tens and stuff, right? So, I mean, he doesn't never not have it, but there's infinite bluffs there for us, so we got to make sure our value gets in there as well. And the best 9, unblocking all the flush draws, etc. Here's mostly going to be a call, so on a 59 we're going to call it. Generally, an easy way to think about the big blind is it's one of the spots where you get to close action and call. I know I've talked about this a lot. So you're going to be naturally really polarized. It's why you 3-bet really bad hands and really strong ones, because those hands actually perform better than 3-betting hands like this. Not to say this is never not a 3-bet. But 3-betting these archetypes of hands, obviously you still kind of need that middling stuff just for how post-flop works. And you want to have enough coverage in 3-bet pots. But in general, your hand's gonna have a tough time facing a 4-bet. You'd rather just call it and just be a strong call, than play. Like, for example, hands like Queen Jack suited actually don't mind 3-betting early positions. They call sometimes versus the 4-bet just for coverage, I guess, but in general they fold. Whereas 3-betting Queen Jack and getting 3-bet with a button range, which is, in practice it's not that aggressive, but in theory it's supposed to be very aggressive. It kind of performs a little less good. On a 10, I guess we'll call. This is like 1/3 of the time. A lot of these like broadways, and we could, but with the jack of clubs, it's just not worth it. Here I think on this card in theory we're just gonna be checking a lot more and then playing a check raise strategy. So I'd rather just do that. I'll probably just check range because people reopen the action too much on this card. On an 88, we're gonna get involved here. And here I'm just gonna go like this and then jam on a spade. As I just expect it to work. I don't expect him to have a king that optim when he reopens, and then even if he has a king, I think he's gonna fold. Yeah, just gonna die here. 1/3 I think's fine. If he finds the rip, we lose. Okay. I mean, here I can do either. This guy's PFR is like huge, so I'm just gonna raise. I'll probably have to call versus a jam, to be honest. Now that I'm realizing I went to 14. I mean, I don't know what equity I need, but if he has like 8s ever, he jams king queen on tilt or something. Like, I don't know. It's hard for us to have less than 33 like very often, so given that we have an ace, I don't mind checking this board and just having him jam some shit. But I guess if we just 1/3, he probably just jams anyway because he thinks we might fold. Could he have a better pair than us? Yeah, but okay, we're kind of right about our assumption. I like twice. Everyone knows that. I just hate all-ins. It's like pretty boring for me. Sucks. Alright, I'll take it. Fair enough. Well played. Whew. Sorry if my tone sounds negative. I get it's like the most unentertaining shit when your tone's negative, but I'm trying to get a video out. A part of me, I recorded 2 recently. It's not like I haven't been trying, and I rewatched them, and I'm just like, this is so bad. I'm not posting this, so it's not that I haven't been trying, but that is poker, baby. I want to make him. I want to use an emoji that makes it like that makes me agree with him. But like, I don't want to use an emoji that sounds toxic because I'm not trying to say anything toxic. This seems good. That's probably the most socially awkward thing I've ever posted on my YouTube channel. Which is a weird accomplishment, I guess. Like, good for him. He caught his 1. I'm okay with it. Am I actually? Maybe not. If you offered me $500 right now and you said, it's from Irish Poet, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't take it. Okay, actually, no, if it was stolen from I wouldn't take it. You know what I'm saying. Okay, on a 70, sure. I think we just continue our theme of attacking the guy with the 36 PFR. And this is going to be a check. Is it a mix probably? Yeah, but I don't care, I'm checking. This board, like, we're going to have a lot of misses on this disconnected board. When you 3-bet from the, like, when you have hands like this, you're going to have misses a lot of the time, so. Could overbet now. I'm gonna big bet and then check river. I like betting this now because there's so much shit. Ugh. I don't think we have to now. He's a little deeper. We just say nice hand. Yeah, we were behind. It's nice to know that he thinks we're picking on him. Now I'd just check river here and probably call. There's some 10x, right? Alright, take it. I don't know. I'm going to review that one. Mainly the turn size and the river line. Could you block river? Maybe. Because what are the... Like, we both obviously have a lot less diamond flush draws in this node than we're going to have hearts. Given that, like, the turn is where the action started. So a lot of this time is going to revolve around what the 10 changed. Hands like King Jack or terrible on the flop become pretty good. Hands like 9-8 obviously become a lot better. In the... Yeah. I mean, the 6 of diamonds, 9-8. To be fair, we have a lot of 9-8 as well. We have, like, almost the same amount. Yeah. And we're still going to have a shit ton of bluffs by the river, so maybe we can go thin. I liked it for check. I don't know if I love it. I think we're like mainly going to be the aggressor here. I don't even know how well of a bluff catch this hand plays. Like if he has a hand like King Jack, like okay, sure. But like I think we're going to be the ones with like hands like King Jack offsuit and stuff with 1 diamond. Like we could have potentially. But I don't know. Queen Deuce is not the strongest hand, let's be real. Here, this hand wants to bet I think more than like a hand like Jack 10 does. Obviously I like the overbet size on this board. 147. I'm just gonna big bet it. Here I'm gonna call. This is a spot like he should be pure overbet or check. It doesn't make any sense. 2 size down. Logically, I mean if you have a reason why people play worse for certain things. Okay, now here he could have King 9, but we big bet the flop. So I'm just gonna big bet here. I was gonna say if he raised, I might just like shove, try free roll him, like we have ace king. I'm just gonna bet here. I think the 3 after we bet the flop is not relevant. It's just like added equity to our hand. That's at least how I view it. I don't view it as showdown. We can check back a lot of king x at club flush draws. Like that's enough flush draws in our checking range. It's not like the SPR is huge either, where we need a lot more nut flush draws in our check back range. Yeah. Because obviously, like if we're like 5,000 big blinds deep, I'm gonna want the nuts sometimes. So, or a good amount of the time, not even just sometimes, not even just like one combo. Like you're gonna want it. So, but that's kind of like theory la la land because no one's ever gonna know. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, he never checks back the nut flush draw. I'm gonna start going 20x pot. It's my 1 size on the river, or like not 1 size, but you get what I'm saying. Like for someone to know that, they would have to pay attention a lot. And then all it would take would be me seeing him do a 20x pot jam once, and I'd be like, well, I think I'm going to check back ace 3 of clubs now. And also, it's just like another thing about solvers. It's like, obviously, if I'm checking back only king x of clubs, and when anytime he's going to have a lot of king x of clubs in his flop calling range, obviously, you could just start jamming them. Like check jamming them, block jamming them, like over a raise, stuff like this, because that's like my main flush. Yeah, I'm just gonna bet again. We got like kind of Rex, and it's like I don't love the size in theory. It's multi-way. The flush just comes in. I mean, like how many bluffs can I have for this size, like profitably, given how much value I'm gonna have in the spot? Like am I just barrel blasting off ace queen with a club multi-way? Like I don't know. Here, I mean this hand's a little too good. Heads up to this is a big better check. I messed up with the block. To be fair, anytime I say big better check, like if you play multiple sizings, some boards like they actually do incorporate a good amount of the small ones, mainly like the king high boards and stuff. Like some of these ace jack, ace king specifically doesn't even like it. Heads up, it doesn't mind. He has bluffs, we block them though. Let's call something else. Alright, so we might get cooked here by our arch nemesis on YouTube. Okay. This is a pure fold. I'm just gonna leave next blind. I don't know if that's wrong. I left a couple times today, not like that, so... I mean, he cooked me. Oh, fuck. Don't do that. Sorry, I shouldn't have swore. I should have played it. I would have had an open ender. I'm never listening to charts again. Deeper, you can start calling stuff like this. Basically, like the non-dominated types of hands get a lot more value deeper, obviously, because you want more hands that you know are gonna make the nuts, or like the effective nuts. Which, like, obviously hands like 6, 4, 5, 3 in position actually can start to become profitable to play some of these like fun hands that like you kind of justify playing and they're like actually not profitable. Start to become actually like playable when you get deeper. Okay, when the overcard comes, like I just think we can kind of run this guy over. Like my logic, like it's pretty obvious, right? Like people, like in a computer world, like you understand that, like, okay, I'm not gonna have much Jack X because my Jack X is gonna fold the flop. So I'm gonna have to call some 10X. I'm gonna have to call some pairs, because otherwise you can just keep betting. But in real life, people just go, "Oh, the Jack came in. That sucks." Obviously, really good. Obviously, good players know that, but recreationals tend not to. And a lot of regs tend not to know that. So it seems like everyone's just leaving. Here with double bad suit, I mean, you need to check a good amount. Like, you're not killing him with the 7x department. Just bet your whole range. You can just start blindly range. You can just range bet into you and then overbet every single turn, and you will get cooked, I think, if you range bet this board. And if you know someone's range betting this board, I would recommend just doing that. And you know what? Shove the river, too. Just do it with your whole range. Probably makes money. It depends on on the turn. On the turn, are they calling all the overpairs or are they folding all of them? Usually people pick one or the other. So on this river, obviously, this is like going to be one of our worst hands that bets. And ace doesn't need a bluff. A lot of these lower cards are going to bet flop. Like, obviously, a 10 is on the board, so it's like, okay, this guy's just going pro, get him an org. We have to call the good amount, but obviously not that hand. He probably just had a full house the whole time. And because that's also one of the reasons, like, for example, that arc, like, if you're not calling a lot of, I said arc instead of node, like, what am I watching too much anime or what? But that node, like, if you're not calling any ace X when he bets river into you or something, like, they can start doing stuff like that, because it's like, okay, why would I bet my super strong value? To be fair, I think when you get to the river, your strong value, you're supposed to trap it. But why would I bet any of my super strong value if you're just going to fold the hands I think you have? Like, I might as well just hope you hit the 10. Because if you only have, you know what I'm saying? If I only have hands like that, then you might as well. Basically what I'm saying is if you can't get value from betting as much, then he's just going to check everything. So sometimes in poker, you give your opponent more EV. But that's kind of more of a solver thing than a real world thing, because in the real world you should always be trying to just maximize your EV basically each hand, because no one's coming to exploit you unless you're playing heads up. On a 14, let's play for fun. I think deeper we should probably never do this, but here I don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna be real, but I have 8 high. Never mind, let's get this guy in org. Okay, donk leads on the 10. I'm tempted to like jam low key, but like I don't see the point. Black card. I guess we just fold and he's just gonna show his bluff to me. It's kind of sad. Guess not. I feel like I'm sounding negative in this video. Let me know what you guys think. Just so like, oh, no one ever bluffs, man. That low-key is me, though. I'll be honest. Low-key, that is me. I'm the typical cringe reg. I'm the only one who bluffs here. As I proceeded, like, I've had some nitty moments today where, like, I could have got, like, I didn't bluff certain spots. Alright, so, wait, what's the action? Did we just call, like, did he 3-bet really small, or, no, he check raised me. We're gonna bet big here and then shove river, and hopefully he just gets scared. I'm imagining here he's gonna have a lot of two-pair and stuff that's just not gonna want to fold because he's priced in to hit a boat in his mind. Like, oh, I beat bluffs and I have draws to a boat. And now here with this diamond, I think like the 9x of diamond stuff is gonna be. Yeah, I don't know if we have to shove there, but I just like, come on, what do we have? Like, we're repping ace king, we're repping a straight. I'm not reopening anything else, so I might as well just shove and just free roll him. I don't like, in theory I could see other things doing it differently, but I just don't expect for anyone to believe that I have enough floats here. Like, I would just check. Like, I mean, maybe I have like some one pair hands I want to turn into a bluff now. But then wouldn't I just want to shove them? Like, I don't know. Also, will I reopen turn with them? I don't know. Like the king queen and stuff. Like king jack. But like king jack, like I'm not betting turn. It's like ace 10 and stuff. But ace 10 might check back flop. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to get for people to believe you there. But damn, I feel like I'm talking and I'm making zero sense. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. But here number 29. I'm just gonna call here. Could do a lot of things. I think on this card it's actually like okay because he's range betting. This card obviously is better for the caller because he's gonna hit it more. Ugh, I want to overbet now, but like I just feel like no one ever believes you. The reason why no one believes you in this line is because they probably expect you to raise flop if you have a flush. Would they be right versus me? Probably. Am I probably over bluffing that? Probably. But you know what the thing is? It's like I'm only over bluffing that today because I never take that line. So it's like one of those spots is like, am I over bluffing it? Like, I could easily see myself have a flush and like do something dumb. I don't know. Sometimes I think I get doppelganger syndrome too much. I know how I play perfectly, so I think when I can exploit myself, I think other people would be able to exploit myself, if that makes sense. And it stops me from making some more money, I think. Whereas other people just assume no one knows anything about how they play, and they usually get rewarded for it. Sometimes punished, but it's like the math evens out. Because every time you get exploited, it's like, well, you also did the exploit that worked on someone else. So it's like, if you drop the fear of getting exploited, maybe you're leaving money on the table. Here I'm gonna mostly be calling. I could raise. Like, to be honest, like people range betting on this texture where you're just gonna have like not a pair so often. It's like I don't mind raising pretty aggressively. The 10's just not as like good of a card, I think, as like if I had any of the other gut shots, because I think he's gonna have a lot of folds with the 10 of hearts. Like 7-5, it's like okay, well, the 5x he does have actually probably hits this board a decent amount, whereas the 10 of hearts is like gonna be mostly getting tossed, right? So I'd rather just call it. Also, we kind of have the added equity of like straight over straighting someone, I think, on that card. So on a 9, we're just gonna call. Check, and we'll raise this one sometimes. I'm trying to I think the hearts are the worst of the 3 on the board. I mean, that is the advantage that you block queen 9, queen 8. On this number, I think 100% raise here makes the most sense. So if you got 3.5, 8.2, it's like 10.5, I imagine. Yeah. I don't know. I think on a 92 it's okay. Like maybe I'm misplaying. I don't know the note perfect. I'm a little rusty if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So here just 1/3. Did I open this UTG? Oh well, whatever. I kind of knew a flush. I knew a flush was coming in. Like a flush from under the gun is actually a pretty good open. Jacket of hearts, no. But when the board comes this, it's a pretty good hand. I beat aces. Subscribe for more tips. I'm recording 39 minutes. Probably make it 45. I don't care. I'm enjoying myself playing this game for once. I'm kidding. It's a great game. The problem is me. Gonna gonna call here. On this hand just like almost pure folds. I imagine this deep versus this size. It probably does call. So I will be calling. But in theory, I think most of them it's like a pure fold. The issue with calling like the 1/3 that he's instantly going to put out here, I don't know why he's thinking when I just everyone in the world knows what's coming here. To be fair, it's the size, so I'm not like flaming him. You'd like double unblock king deuce, which doesn't matter. I imagine a pair is supposed to call in position this deep. Like, I don't know. This is probably a fold. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably a fold. Because if he sniffs the bet button on the turn, we're always folding. So it's like, if a 5 comes off, we get counterfeited. Like, we're definitely folding. I kind of wish I folded pre. I told you guys it was a pure fold basically, but I think it calls like a little bit, and then we were deeper, so then I assumed okay, and then he sized it down. I think he's supposed to size to 11. He went to 10. It's like all these reasons compiled on top of each other made me call. And then the board comes the most niche spot where like I never even have deuces in that spot because I know I'm supposed to fold it, and then I have it. I'm just like, oh, it's like basically a range check. I'll probably just check call. I want him to keep all his like random 7x in here, and here I think we just build the pot. I don't see the point of like giga trapping here when we're this deep. Double bad suit. We're just gonna call here, even though this guy's probably overbetting this board. I mean, he's over c betting this board. That's what I meant to say. Not overbetting. Alright, here I think we just bet this size. I don't think we overbet. He's gonna have some boats and shits. So he's just like any 2 cards here and he bet half pot. I guess we'll call. Okay, never mind. This guy's going pro. I'll never doubt him again. He is not over c betting. He just had trips. I'm just gonna toss. Here from the spot 26. We'll let it go. We're getting 3-bet here again by this guy. Oh no. Especially with the spade, we're just gonna check. Bets 2 cents. I'm assuming this in lets it go. We have a spade, so we don't block enough. Like, we can't raise, and our hand isn't the best call. As long as you're checking enough, you shouldn't be worried about stuff like that happening to you. And if people keep over attacking your checking range, just start checking a lot more then. Like we saw earlier, I checked that exact same, like that same type of board. I had 8-7, and my opponent check folded basically. So he probably had something when he bet there. I mean, obviously, yeah, he's supposed to actually be betting a lot with not a pair, especially if he's picking that size. So I'm surprised he even had a checking range in the other spot, but yeah. I guess to him, one side he knows I'm range checking, the other he thinks I might not be, and I'm not range checking the other spot, so he would be a little right. But so this guy just accidentally leads into me. Part of me just doesn't think it's a set when he leads into me, but I don't know. Same player, same spot. With the suits, I guess we just call. I don't know though, might be wrong. So it's just since we know he's not range betting the spot because we actually had almost the exact same board earlier, so he probably has something. Just weird with the FD to. Okay, so this guy's just actually like button clicking versus me. The 8 coming is actually pretty good for me, to be honest, because I mean, like maybe it was 8-7, but now it's less likely. Like I don't think he was doing this with a 1 pair 8, so it can only be a good card, right? Think this hand calls. Easy call now. King. So we release the a6 of diamonds. If he rips here, like nice hand, I'm out of here. Like from my experience, he just has the nuts. Like I don't know. Just 7s or deuces, quads. He's like infinite bluffs here, but like I'm so sick of this. This has been happening to me so much recently, and you just like they just have the nuts. Like this has been like, oh, I'm starting to be a victim. Like in theory, this calls. Like under 97, probably just flicks it in. He never has king. Like, I just know he's not bluffing here. Like, cause like the thing is also when the ace comes off, it's like how often do I have the ace X? Like in order to defend enough here, I have to call stuff like this. But like, will is my opponent good enough to know this? Like, I feel like no. Like he's not. Ugh. King of diamonds is great because he's supposed to give it up. King clubs is even good because maybe like randomly trolls a king 8 on the flop and I block it. He obviously has a billion hands like 9-6, 10-9, 6-5, 6-4, Jack 9, and he literally his only value is like 7. I'm selling myself so hard because I'm a station. Ugh. Alright, for the video, I'm going to call, I think. I instantly was going to fold, and then I just sell myself. Alright, I'm an idiot. I doubted him. He's the best player ever. I guess that's, like, the advantage of just being a normal person. And just playing, like, I know I'm supposed to call, and he knew he was supposed to jam. Good play. Don't love the 3-bet, though. I don't like the 3-bet. But it fucked with me, so good play. Also, how does he accidentally mid-click bet flop with his hand? Does he think this is a leading board? He's getting cooked on this board. He's like no range advantage. Like, slightly more sets. I mean, I'm opening 8s and 7s pure, so it's like not even true. And like your range, I don't think his range is more. I think he has more combos of hands than I do, right? Because he's in the big blind, so it just doesn't make sense. But oh well, we played normal. We decided our hand was a call. From all the bullshit I was spewing, I know he has a million bluffs there, so if he's taking all of them, he's like giga over bluffing. He's repping 0 value, so like I was purely just doubting the player being capable, and he thought that he had the right read too, because God, it took me that long to call with like okay, on this number we're going to be doing it. I know we're a little deeper, but whatever. Like, I don't know, the range is perfect at this depth. I imagine the suited combos don't change too much. I imagine you start to get a little more linear because you stop being as scared of a 4-bet. So you don't need to become polar. Like 1,000 big blinds, you don't need to be polar anymore, I imagine, because you can call so much shit versus 4-bets. I'm getting cooked over here by these guys, though. They're too good. Alright, anyway. Sorry for the not toxicity, but like, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.